Why are bad sets good? Well, we have a box of Crimson Vow here, which I feel like for a lot of people would be considered a bad set, but the term bad here is a bit misleading, I think, because there are actually a lot of good and desirable cards in this set. So what makes it bad then? I feel like a more appropriate term would be undesirable, because in comparison to the other sets that were available at the time that this was around, nobody wanted it. Stores would keep on putting this on sale over and over and over at very cheap prices because it was just undesirable. Nobody wanted to buy it. And you can see that this is a cycle that Magic tends to kind of go through, is that for every, I guess, standard life cycle, there will be one or two sets which are just considered worse than the others, and in comparison to what you can get, nobody will want to buy this particular product. Crimson Vow is one of these sets. Karlov Manor was one of those sets for a long time. Currently, Ether Drift is one of those sets. As weird as it sounds, it looks like Spider-Man might be shaping up to be one of those sets. Streets of New Capenna was one of these sets. If you go back even further, you could go to Ravnica Allegiance. That one was put on sale over and over. Rivals of Ixalan was another one of those sets. But these are all sets that I actually liked quite a lot because they were undesirable. And that meant they were readily available at a rather affordable price, at least compared to other products. But the sets themselves aren't necessarily bad. As I was saying, there are a lot of good cards in them. So whenever there's a case like this with a set that becomes undesirable and is then rather affordable, I tend to like to start opening it up to get the cards that are inside it. This is something that I've done many times in the past, probably starting with Rivals of Ixalan. If you go back to my very early videos, you can see that I was opening a lot of that product. This is something that I did last year with both Dominaria United and March of the Machine. Those sets are actually pretty good, but it's just in comparison to the other things that were available, they were undesirable, so they went on sale for a rather affordable price, to the point where the price was so low that it basically guaranteed being able to make a profit on just opening the sealed product. And that's actually the case right now with Crimson Vow. Well, it's kind of the case because the price of these boxes has gone up from the low point, so if you're to buy the box today, you might not be able to guarantee making a profit opening the box. However, like I was saying, these went on sale many times. I purchased a decent amount of these from Face-to-Face Games over the years. Whenever they would go on sale, I believe the lowest price that they were listed at was about $80. That's 80 Canadian dollars. All the prices I'll refer to in this video are going to be in Canadian dollars, just to keep things simple. So if you want to convert to US, that's about around 1.4. So these were on sale for as low as 80 Canadian dollars. Sometimes they were 90. I bought some then. So I could just say that my average price for buying these was, say, 85 Canadian dollars. Plus tax, it puts that around $100. If you were to buy it today, it would probably be somewhere between 120 and 140. But what you'll see in this video is that because of the cards that are in here and because of the low price point that it was to buy these, it's almost guaranteed that I'll be able to make a profit opening this. And the reason for that isn't because there's a particular big card or some chase rare or something in it. It's because of the commons that are in this set. Inside this box, there will be at least 3 copies of every common. There might be 4, and if I'm really lucky, there might be 5 copies of a common because I would get 4 plus a foil. And the number of commons in this set that actually have value is actually very high. The top one that we'd be looking for is Kessig Flame Breather, and as I said, I'm referring to prices in Canadian dollars in this video, so that would be at about $5. And you might think that seems pretty high, $5 for a Kessig Flame Breather. It's what, like 2 or 3 on TCG Player? But that would be in US dollars. But also, when I'm selling these cards, if I'm not buy listing them to a store, I'm going to be selling them on Card Trader. And for Kessig Flame Breather in particular, I've sold many copies of this card at $5 plus, some of them even more than $6. And that's going to be the case for most of the cards in this video, is that I'll be looking to sell them through Card Trader. So the commons that we'll be looking for are Kessig Flame Breather at $5, Vampire's Kiss at about $1.50, Reckless Impulse also at about $1.50, and the Festivities at $2, This one isn't so big, but Undying Malice is about 50 cents still. And then Blood Fountain, also at $1.50. So if you add up those commons, which are basically guaranteed to be in this box, at the number at which we'd get them, that's nearly $40 in guaranteed value in just commons that you'll get in every box of Crimson Vow. That's not including any rares or mythics, of which there are good ones in this set as well. Another thing that's really cool about this set is actually the tokens. There are some very desirable tokens in this set. You have things like the Slug at upwards of $10. There's a Vampire, which is more than $5. There's a Spirit Cleric, which is also more than $5. You've also got some other decent ones like Human Soldier, Dragon Illusion, and the Vampire with Lifelink. And even, this is weird, but even something as simple as a Blood token does regularly sell for more than 50 cents for just a blood, of which there are, you know, millions of that token hanging around. But then on top of that, you also have the Showcase Art basic lands, of which you get one in every pack. And for those, there will be at least 3 copies of every version of every land. So, you know, there's 2 arts for Swamp, 2 arts for Plains, and all of that. There will be at least 3 of each of those. So you can see when you add all of those things up, it becomes pretty desirable to just open the boxes at this point. And despite me opening a lot of product on my channel and, you know, making channel about Magic the Gathering, it might seem kind of strange that I'm actually not a fan of gambling. It's not really something that appeals to me. This is something that appeals much more to me when you can basically guarantee what you're going to get. There's also a box topper. Most of the time, this is nothing. There are a couple of good cards that you can get as a box topper. Chances are it's going to be like a Thirst for Discovery or like a Vampire's Vengeance or whatever it's called. We'll see. We'll just open it up right now. We got Aerith, Tormented Prophet. It's a rare. It's not a particularly desirable one, but hey, at least it's not an uncommon. I would say this doesn't really add any value to the box, but that was our box topper. So we're going to open up this box, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about with when there are sets that are undesirable like this, and they just keep on going on sale over and over. Yeah, the set can be undesirable, but that doesn't mean that all the cards in it are bad. There are lots of good cards in basically every set, except for maybe Dragon's Maze, I don't know. So there's our basic land. Here's Ulvenwald Oddity. I'll make a pile for rares. There is only one notable uncommon in this set, which is Wash Away, which I think is a pretty cool card, actually. I read that card as basically 1 mana counter target commander. So in that pack, there was basically nothing, which is actually kind of rare. With the number of good commons you're looking for, there will be something to take out of basically every pack, almost, except for that one. There's a Blood token. We'll hold on to that. There's a Plains, Change of Fortune. It's kind of a bulk rare there. We're going to go through the entire box. Voldaren Epicure, I didn't mention that common, but that's one that's worth holding on to as well. Those ones do sell all the time. I'll just pile all this stuff together here. A lot of these cards, like Voldaren Epicure and things like that, these were reprinted in Innistrad Remastered. If they hadn't been, I can just imagine how much more lucrative it would be to open these boxes. But even with the reprint, people still want these cards. You know, there's tons of them out there, but people need them for their decks. Island. We got a Savor of Allenbach, which I think is the worst mythic in the set, which is one that I probably have the most copies of as well. There aren't really that many great mythics you're looking for. Toxrill is going to be the #1 mythic. We got an Undying Malice there. There's an End the Festivities. So 2 good commons in that pack. But when I'm opening packs, I'm looking for commons rather than mythics. If I find a mythic that's not that great, it's not really a big deal. We got a Bora foil. Thalia. That's kind of cool. I'll make a pile of decent rares, I guess. That's what I call it. Catilda is decent as well. That's actually a rather good card, Catilda. And a Vampire's Kiss. That apparently it's a Pauper staple, I guess, and Pauper Burn is where the demand for that card is coming from. That one, it was nothing for so long. That one kind of crept up on me. I remember seeing that in bulk lots and just kind of ignoring it. And now I'm actively looking for it when opening packs. Say a foil Reckless Impulse. That's cool. So it could be possible to get 5 Reckless Impulse in this box if we get 4 regular ones, which would be pretty cool. So, what do I have? 2 piles for lands. And there. Okay. Wash Away. There's our good uncommon. There might only be 1 Wash Away in the box. Wedding Invitation, I think, is a cool card as well. I usually hold on to that card. It's not really worth selling or anything at this point, but I think it's one that could have potential in the future. 2 mana, it's an artifact, so artifact synergies. It draws a card, and it can make something unblockable, and also give it lifelink if it's a vampire. We got a Geralf, Visionary Stitcher. That card is okay. And that, none of the commons we're looking for. I did this a ton off camera with Karlov Manor, looking for, so that set was insane in terms of basically guaranteed value. Copy is an okay token as well. Inspired Idea. But I ended up opening a ton of boxes of Karlov Manor for the rare land cycle, but there were also so many good uncommon and common cards that it was just, you know, reliable to be able to open them and have it be worth it. Falkenrath Forebear. Not so much in that one either. So obviously at the end of this video I'm going to do a recap like I typically do, going over what we ended up getting. Welcoming Vampire is one of the good rares that you're looking for. It's not huge, but it has value. Kazakh Flame Breather, there's our first one, so that's the #1 common in the set. Put that there. Blood Fountain is another good one. I know it took me a while to realize just how insane kind of Blood Fountain is. Like, it's not a super powerful card, but for 1 mana, you're putting 3 artifacts into play. And I feel like those artifacts could do nothing. Like, they could just be artifact and have no ability, and it would still be a pretty decent card. Just putting 3 artifacts into play for 1 mana. Old Rutstein there. Ancestral Anger is another card that I hold on to usually. It also got reprinted in Innistrad Remastered. There's one of the good tokens we're looking for. That's the Vampire, which is, I believe, more than $5 actually. We'll put that there. Foil. I guess I should be making a foil pile. I don't know. There's bulk foils. Graph Reaver. We'll hold on to this Wedding Invitation. One thing that, with what I was talking about with the guaranteed value in these boxes, it's a little bit different now, I guess, with play boxes, how they only have 30 packs in each box. Because with a draft box, you get 36 packs, and the numbers are very reliable in regards to commons and even uncommons. But with newer play boxes where there's only 30 packs in a box, I feel like that might be a bit different. Another Reckless Impulse. Gotta dig up there. That card was hyped for a while, actually. It's basically nothing at this point. Like, I don't know if it's straight up bulk, but compared to the hype that surrounded that card, it's surprising how little it's done. Voice of the Blessed is an okay rare. Ancestral Anger, Voldar, Epicure. And then there's a decent land cycle in this set as well. Got reprinted in Innistrad Remastered once again, and sometimes they're in Commander decks too, I believe. But the land cycle does still hold value. It's kind of interesting, though, that there is a pretty big spread in regards to the value for any particular one land from the cycle. The blue-green one, Dreamroot Cascade, I think is what it's called, is by far the worst one. I think it's just been printed more times. And I think the best one might actually be the Boros one. I'm not certain on that. Another Reckless Impulse. An ad card. We got 2 lands in that. Okay, Sorin. Sorin is cool, but in terms of mythics with value, it's actually not that great. But we could certainly do a lot worse, so, you know, I'm not really disappointed to see a Sorin by any means. Yeah, Hullbreaker Horror. That's another of the decent rares. It's been printed so many times, but it's incredible in Commander, so it still has some value despite the number of printings. Still don't have the rare land cycle yet, though. Oh, Vampire Slayer, okay. There we go, one right there, Deathcap Blade. That's actually a good one, especially in Borderless. That's a good one to find. Another End of Festivities. Knocking over my pile. There's another one with the good tokens. It's nice to see it. So with the tokens, it's I don't think that there's really any guarantee of anything in regards to tokens. I've opened boxes and gotten 0 of the desirable tokens before, and I've also opened boxes and gotten all of them, including multiples, so it's kind of just all over the place with tokens. Dragon Illusion is another one of the good ones. Okay, so we're getting some of the good tokens. Volatile Arsonist is another one of the pretty bulk mythics, but it's a mythic though. Vampire's Kiss is good. So we're more than halfway through the box, and it seems pretty decent so far, actually. We've gotten, you know, a decent mythic. We've gotten several of the good tokens. Gotten the stuff that we would expect to see with the commons there. An Undying Malice, another Blood Fountain. Hopeful Initiate. It's alright. That was so much better when it was in Standard. That was actually a rare that you would have been hyped to open at one point. Catapult Fodder is invading my rare pile. Howling Moon is an okay rare, surprisingly now. It's kind of funny how things change like that. You know, Hopeful Initiate would have been great at the same time when Howling Moon would have been complete bulk. Well, now Howling Moon is the more desirable one. Stormcarved Coast, okay, another from the land cycle. Vampire's Kiss. If you find a Toxrill in a box, you're gonna come out ahead because of the basically guaranteed value with the commons, and then if you get your your big mythic, you're probably gonna come out ahead. I've opened a couple of boxes actually that had 2 Toxrills in them. Alarn Estate. That's kind of just a bulk rare. I'm going to make 2 piles for my commons there. Things like this, where you can see I'm pulling something out of basically every pack, not every pack, But there's something notable to take out of almost every pack. Even if it's not huge, you know, it's something. Runo. Well, there wasn't really anything to pull out of that pack. Could have taken the Felstinger. Actually, that card is not bad. I might grab that after. We got Helena and Elena is actually a pretty decent rare. The card is really strong. Like, it did see standard play. I'm surprised it didn't see more though. It's a really good card. A Blood-Tithe Harvester. That card was all the hotness in Pioneer and Standard. Not so much anymore. I'll still hold on to it. Like, I'll put it here. The Cemetery Gatekeeper. There's this cycle as well, the Gatekeeper cycle in Mythics. I don't remember which. Hey, we got 2 washaways in this box. How fortunate. And the Festivities. I don't remember which is the best of the Gatekeeper cycle. Some of those were pretty big, I think, when they were in Standard. I don't think any of them are at this point. The green one, I believe, is the best one right now. Or at least in terms of value. Ascendant Pack Leader. I hold on to Storm Chaser Drake. Storm Chaser Drake as well. It's a very simple effect. It's a 2/1 flyer for 2, so okay stats, got evasion. When it comes to target a spell you control, you draw a card. Nice and simple. I like it. I think it has potential. Go in some kind of like spell slingy type of deck that's playing combat, like pump spells or something. I don't know. Dorothy. Getting down to the end here, we got what, 4 packs left? 4 packs. I feel like we've done pretty well though. Vampire's Kiss. There could be at least one more mythic. 4 would be a bit on the low end for the number you're looking for. Oh, nice. That's better than most of the mythics. Okay, Slug. We're happy with that. That's the best token. Did really well on tokens in this box, which sounds weird to say when you're looking for tokens. And the Spirit, wow, we got basically all of the good tokens. And, holy crap. And a Borderless Shattered Sanctum too. I feel like this is going to be a really good box when we add up everything at the end. Definitely interested to see how that's going to turn out. Well, we got a 5th mythic. We got an island. Sigarda Summons. Nope, only 4 mythics in this box. And nothing in that. Okay. I feel like that was a pretty good box though, so what I'm going to do now is take a closer look at things, organize them, add up some values, and then come back to you to see how we did on this box, but I think it's going to end up being pretty good, so I'll see you in just a second. Okay, we're back to see how we did, and basically, yes, this was, I think, pretty much a perfect example of what I was talking about, the whole video about how bad sets aren't really bad, they're actually good, because there are good cards in them, and even if a set is bad and undesirable, it means, you know, stores are going to put them on sale because nobody wants to buy it, but they still need to sell it. So then you can end up buying it for, you know, a pretty reasonable price and get the good cards that are in the set. But also with sets like this, it's not really a gamble because what you're looking for is the commons, which you are going to get. And why I think this box is kind of a perfect example is that you can see the mythics up top. We did really bad on mythics. We didn't get any of the good ones that you're looking for. There are actually some good mythics in the set. You know, you have Toxrill at around $15 to $20 at the top mythic in the set. You got Necro Duality at around 8 to 10-ish. There's Hallowed Haunting. There's Olivia Crimson Bride. There's Cultivator Colossus All those are good mythics, but we got none of them. But despite that, the total value for what we're looking at here is going to come to around 130 to 140 Canadian dollars. And if you remember what I was saying about how much I paid for these, the cheapest ones were about 80 Canadian dollars plus tax. Some of them were 90 plus tax. So an average of around, with tax, between 95 to 100-ish. So you could say on the high end, $100. Just say it's $100, make it even. And as I was saying, what I'm going to do with most of these is put them for sale on Card Trader. And now is a good time to mention that I do have a referral link for Card Trader. I use it for both buying and selling cards. I think it's great, especially for people outside of the United States where you don't have access to TCG Player really. You can use it in the United States as well, you definitely can, but me being in Canada, it's great for me because I don't really have access to TCG Player. But if you want to try it out for yourself, which I recommend doing, you can follow my referral link in the video description, and that would definitely help out the channel. But the selling fees there are 10%. So with around 140 in value here, minus 10%, we're still coming out quite on top despite missing big on all the mythics. If you watched the video that I made last year opening all those boxes of Dominaria United, one thing that I talked about a lot was the idea of removing variants. That's basically what we're doing here, because like I was saying, I don't really like gambling. If I can remove variants and be basically guaranteed something, that is much better for me. So these were the mythics, these were the top rares. The commons, though, is what I've been talking about this whole time. I was saying we will get at least 3 copies of every common, and we did. So 3 Kessig Flame Breathers, that's the top one. 4 Reckless Impulse, because one of them is foil here. We could have gotten 5, but 4 is good. 3 on the Festivities. Voldaren Epicure, I didn't even really have that on the list, but it's definitely one that's worth taking out. Got 3 of those. 2 Wash Away is good. For some uncommons, you'll get 0 of them in a box, but we got 2 of them here, which is cool. Blood Tithe is not even on the list. 4 Vampire's Kiss, 3 Undying Malice, and 3 Blood Fountain, so at least 3 of every common. The same is the case for the full art basic lands. We did pretty good on these actually, because you will get at least 3 of each, but for the best one, the Swamp, which is around $1 each, we got 4 of each, so a total of 8 of those. And this is where a bit more of the value for the box was coming that I was talking about, is in the basic lands. The Swamp is the best one at about $1 each. The rest, I would just value these at around $0.25, which is a very conservative value because a lot of them are more than that, especially the islands and the mountains. But if there's 1 in every pack, you got what, 36 in a box minus the 8 swamps, so that's going to be 28. If you value that at $0.25, that's about $7 in basic lands, but in reality it's a little bit more than that. There's actually 1 extra one there too because of the foil, but that's just whatever. One case where variants did actually work out in our favor in this box though was, we did bad on the mythics, but we did very good on tokens. I was talking about the value of the token of the set. We got all of them. I think all of the good ones we're looking for. Slug is the top one, Vampire is good, Spirit Cleric's good. These ones are pretty good too, the Human Soldier and the Dragon, so we did do quite well on tokens. So I thought this was interesting with this set in particular. Like I was saying, there's a lot of sets where this happens. It seems, 1 or 2 sets for every standard life cycle. There is an undesirable one, and those are the ones that I actually look to buy because they ended up going on sale for, cheaper than I think they kind of should be. And then, buy them, open them, and sell or buy list the cards to roll that into more sets, and it's a never-ending cycle. And speaking of tracking things like value and also deck building, actually, I should take this moment to mention a supporter of the channel in moxfield.com. It's what I use to track my collection and also build all of my decks. I have a link to that in the video description below as well, so if you're looking for any kind of tracking or deck building services, I definitely recommend checking out moxfield.com. And once again, you can find my referral link for Card Trader there as well if you're looking to do any buying or selling of Magic cards. Or any trading cards, really. But that's going to do it for this one, though, so if you're still watching, thanks for watching. It'd be cool if you can like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Everyone should definitely come join my Discord server. You can find a link to that in the video description below. And also, I'd just like to take a moment to thank all of the patrons that support me on Patreon. But otherwise, though, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.